I loved my fiancée, but when she refused a prenup and her daughter demanded to be in my will, I walked away from them both. Hello Reddit I+ here. This is something I've kept to myself for over a year now. I didn't talk about it when it happened because honestly, I felt stupid and used. But I've been seeing a lot of posts lately that hit a little too close to home, and maybe writing this out will help me finally put it behind me. I, 39 at the time, now 40, was engaged to a woman named Andrea, 36, when we met. We were together for about 3 years, lived together for 2, and we were supposed to get married last fall. Andrea had a 13-year-old daughter, Zoe, from a previous marriage. Her ex-husband wasn't really in the picture. She told me early on that he was emotionally neglectful and that he wasn't reliable when it came to co-parenting. I never pushed for details. I figured if she was trying to move on and build something new, she deserved that chance. I met Andrea at a charity gala my co-worker dragged me to. She was easy to talk to, low-key, didn't drink, had a calm vibe. I liked her right away. We had dinner a few days later, and things just took off from there. For some background, I own a small but successful tech company I started in my late 20s and sold most of my stake in a couple of years ago. I'm not rich, but I have solid assets, a couple of investment properties, savings, and zero debt. I drive a modest car, live in a paid-off home, and I'm not flashy. I mention this only because it becomes relevant later. Andrea and I moved in together about a year after dating. Zoe moved in a few months after that. I tried my best to be supportive without overstepping. I paid for Zoe's new laptop when hers broke, converted my office into her room, helped with her school projects, and drove her to music lessons twice a week. I never tried to act like her dad, but I treated her with respect. Things were good for a while. I proposed to Andrea on her birthday. Simple dinner, just the 3 of us. She cried, said yes. Zoe seemed genuinely happy. For a few months, it felt like everything was finally clicking into place. Then came the prenup conversation. I brought it up gently, told her my lawyer could draw up something standard. I wasn't trying to be cold. I just wanted to protect what I had built before we met. I was even open to splitting anything we built together during the marriage, and I offered a reasonable clause about spousal support depending on the length of the marriage. Honestly, it was fair. Andrea flipped. Said I was planning for divorce and didn't trust her. She called it insulting, said she wasn't some kind of gold digger and couldn't believe I'd even bring it up. I tried to talk it through, but every time I did, she'd shut down or start crying. I let it go for a while. I didn't want to ruin things, but I couldn't shake the feeling in my gut. Then Zoe came to me one evening. Andrea was out with friends and said, completely straight-faced, "I think I should be in your will." I blinked, thought I misheard her. She said something like, "You've basically been like a second dad, and I think it's only fair." I was thinking maybe the lake property or one of the apartments. I was floored. She was 14 at this point. I tried to keep my voice calm and told her that wills and estate plans are personal, and it wasn't something I was ready to talk about with her. She rolled her eyes and said, "Mom said you'd probably act weird about it." Again, Mom said. That was when my gut started screaming. I noticed little things more after that, whispers between them. Andrea checking my laptop screen when she thought I wasn't looking. Her suddenly being very interested in my life insurance policy. How often she asked if I'd talked to my lawyer. Yet. So, yeah, I crossed a line. I went through her phone. I know it's wrong. I don't feel good about it. But I needed to know if I was going crazy or if something was actually off. What I found made me sick. There were texts between her and her sister, her and a friend named Mia, even 1 or 2 with Zoe that made my blood run cold. Stuff like, "If he doesn't sign over anything, I'm not wasting my time. I've put in 2 years of effort. He's still pushing for a prenup. I might just tell him I feel unsafe and need space, see if he caves." Zoe brought up the will. He got all stiff. Might have to wait on that. Worst case, I get the wedding gifts and whatever alimony I can squeeze. It wasn't just that she was planning. It was the fact that it was orchestrated. Like I was some long con, and she had her daughter involved in it. I took screenshots of everything and forwarded them to my lawyer. I didn't confront her right away. I needed to cool off and figure out the cleanest way to end it. That weekend, I asked her to sit down and talk. Told her calmly that I'd seen the messages. I didn't yell. I just laid it all out. I said, "You don't love me. You love the idea of what I can give you. And I deserve better than that." She didn't deny it. Didn't cry. Just went quiet, then said, "I can't believe you went through my phone." That was her focus. She left with Zoe 2 days later. No goodbye, no apology, no attempt to fix anything. Just silence. A few days later she texted me asking if I'd reimburse her for the dress deposit and the wedding planner she hired. She hadn't. I had already paid all deposits through my own account. Then she tried threatening to post online that I was emotionally abusive. I told her I had every screenshot from her phone and would go public if I had to. She never followed through. I changed the locks, changed my will, and changed my entire perspective on trust. I still believe in love. I really do. But I also believe in protecting yourself. Because even the person sleeping next to you every night might not be there for the reasons you think. It's been about a year since it all ended. I haven't dated since. I'm taking time to figure myself out, to rebuild some sense of trust in my instincts. But yeah, I love them both. I thought I was building a family. Turns out, I was just an investment. The weeks after Andrea left were mechanical. I went to work, came home, ate the same meal on repeat, and laid in bed scrolling until I passed out. I didn't talk about it to friends right away, because part of me was ashamed. I didn't want to admit that a grown man with a decent head on his shoulders and his own business couldn't see that he was being used. Groomed, even. I didn't want to admit how close I came to legally tying my entire future to someone who viewed me like an ATM with a pulse. Worse, I missed Zoe. Even knowing what I knew, that she was involved in her mom's scheme, I still remembered the kid who used to bring me drawings and leave sticky notes on the fridge that said things like, "Thanks for helping with math," or "Your eggs are better than mom's." And I'd wonder if any of that had been real. If maybe she was just playing along to make her mom happy, or if she'd been raised to see people as tools instead of humans. Then, two things happened that flipped the whole situation on its head. The first was an email from Andrea's ex-husband, Mike. It landed in my spam folder at first, and I almost deleted it. But something in the subject line, "I'm sorry you got caught in it too," made me open it. He said he'd heard through the grapevine, small town, mutual acquaintances, that Andrea and I had split, and he wanted to reach out not to pry, but to explain. Apparently, Andrea pulled the same move on him. They got married fast. She pushed hard for it. 2 years in, she started pressuring him to co-sign on a mortgage he couldn't afford, started talking about opening a joint business with money from his inheritance. When he refused, she became hostile, cold, started twisting Zoe against him until he finally filed for divorce. The part that gutted me, he said he hadn't spoken to Zoe in almost 4 years. Andrea made it impossible. Every time he tried, there was drama. CPS reports filed against him, restraining order threats, and he couldn't afford the legal fees to keep fighting. He ended his email with, "I don't know you, but I'm sorry. If you ever need someone to talk to who understands what it feels like to be used and discarded by the same person, I'm here." That's when it all clicked. I wasn't the first mark. I was just the next one. She'd been grooming me, with love, softness, quiet gratitude, until I was in deep enough that she thought I wouldn't question anything. Zoe was just an extension of her manipulation. Maybe she knew exactly what she was doing. Maybe she was just learning from her mom. The second thing that happened was a letter. A real, physical envelope, addressed in looping teenage handwriting. No return address. It was from Zoe. She said she didn't know if I'd read it, or if I'd already thrown everything she said into a mental trash can. But she wanted me to know she was sorry. She admitted her mom had coached her, told her to talk to me about the will, to act like it was normal, like it was something families did. She said she didn't even understand most of it, just knew her mom got weirdly intense when she pushed back. That when she told Andrea it felt wrong, Andrea yelled at her and told her she'd ruin everything they'd worked for. She said she missed how safe the house felt, how she didn't have to tiptoe around, how it was the first time she'd actually liked doing homework. She ended the letter with, "You were kind, even when you didn't have to be. I know I don't deserve anything from you, but I just wanted to say thank you. I'm sorry I hurt you." I sat in my kitchen with that letter for a long time. I didn't respond. I still haven't. I don't know what I'd say. I don't think I could ever let her or Andrea back into my life. But I also don't think I can carry hate for a teenager whose entire world was shaped by someone who saw people as means to an end. These days, I'm doing better. I started therapy, finally. I'm slowly reconnecting with friends. I even adopted a senior dog from a rescue. He's cranky and farts like a freight train, but he never lies to me, and that's a start. There are still days where the betrayal hits me out of nowhere, like driving past the bakery where we picked out our cake, or seeing a kid Zoe's age wearing the same hoodie I bought her last Christmas. But I'm healing, slowly, on my terms, and I've learned something that took me nearly 40 years to understand. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes trust has to come with a boundary, and sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is walk away.